The reality is, it's hard sometimes to carry the big stick. It's even harder to use it. But the reality is, we have to. Welcome to the Spinoso Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Spinoso. My experience and expertise is in scaling all types of medical businesses to 7, 8, and 9 figures. And I'm sharing my journey to having multiple 8-figure companies and someday, hopefully, enjoying a 9-figure exit. This isn't a podcast telling you you should do this. I'm just telling you how I did this, and I hope that helps you. I want to help you build your business, take ownership of your life, and become a better leader at home and at work. And guys, I'd love to connect with you, especially if you're a medical entrepreneur. I have free courses available to help you scale your medical business. Check those out at dralexspinoso.com/courses. That is dralexspinoso.com/courses. I also invite you to connect with me on Instagram at Dr. Alex Spinoso, LinkedIn at the same, and every other platform, YouTube, etc. I am always Dr. Alex Spinoso. Thanks for listening. What's up, guys? All right, so in entrepreneurship, there are all sorts of resources available to us. There are books, there are podcasts, there's courses out there. There are even degrees that you can actually earn in business. Whether those degrees are worth a shit is a matter of debate. But regardless, in my opinion, the most valuable resource is a relationship. And not just any relationship, but a relationship with someone who has been where you are, someone who has done what you want to do, someone who knows what to do and is willing to give you some advice that is actually worthwhile, that is actually valuable. Now, I've benefited from those relationships a ton in my working life. I could talk forever about the value I've gained from people like Andy Frisella or even my business partner, Brent Messer. But one of the best lessons I've ever gained was from a relationship I enjoyed very briefly. This guy was and is a billionaire. And I got to know him when my wife and I lived at the 12, a high-rise complex in Frisco, Texas. This guy made all his money in tech and IT. He had sold a $1 billion business and was building another. And he told me something that I remember to this day. He shared a lesson that has been crucial for me. He said, in the business world, make sure you stand tall and carry a big stick. Now, the topic of that original conversation was lawsuits. He told me that as I got more successful and the company got bigger, I needed to get the best lawyers possible. I needed to get them on retainer, and I needed to never hesitate to use them frequently. My buddy explained that you will need them to protect your company as you grow. So pay them well, and above all, don't be afraid to take legal action against someone if and when it becomes necessary. That's what he said. Sometimes you just got to use the big stick. Now, the reason that this has been so helpful to me and the reason this mentality will be so helpful to you is that for all of our talk about empire building and competition and crushing and killing and blah, 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 most of us don't want to be dicks. You understand? Deep in our heart, most of us don't want to be dicks. And the problem is, we've all seen the movies and TV shows where the successful businessman is a heartless bastard, or the high-level woman is some sort of vampish bitch. And we don't really want to be like that. We don't. We don't want to be the Ebenezer Scrooge at the beginning of the movie. We don't want to be the Gordon Gekko. We sure as hell don't want to be the Wolf of Wall Street, at least in terms of ethics, you know? I mean, fuck that guy. I'll say it again. We don't want to be dicks. We want to be nice, kind, decent, good-hearted human beings. So, the reality is, it's hard sometimes to carry the big stick. It's even harder to use it. But the reality is, we have to. If we are people who genuinely want to offer a quality product or service to the market, we have to. If we are people who genuinely want to do right by our team and our customers, we have to. You want to know why? Because there are a lot of people out there who truly are dicks. They're scammers. They are absolute scumbags. There are people who will attack your company for fraudulent reasons. There are people who will try to manipulate the law for their own personal, unethical gains. What happens if you back down from those people? What happens if you let them get away with shit? Well, let me ask you this. What happened when people saw what Hitler was up to for 4 years and didn't do shit about it? What happened when Winston Churchill said again and again, Hitler's a fucking problem and we need to stop him while we have the chance? And everybody just said, hey, shut the fuck up, Winston. You're just being an alarmist. I'll tell you what happened. Nazi Germany got stronger and stronger until one day they rolled into Poland, and the next thing you know, the swastika was flying over most of Europe. Now, some of you might be thinking, fuck, this isn't the Nazis. Look, my point is, what happens when you don't deal with evil? It spreads. What happens when you don't cut out cancer or kill it with radiation? It grows. What happens if you let a drop of oil into a container of fresh water? It destroys it. I don't care if you're dealing with scummy people attacking your business and you need to lawyer up and destroy them, or you're dealing with cancerous members of your team and you need to kick them the fuck out of your company. You have to carry the big stick. You have to show them you are willing to use it. Kindness should never be mistaken for weakness. And how do you do that? You actually use the big stick. The longer I am in business, the easier it is for me to do this because I see the benefits. More importantly, I know what's going to happen if I don't use the big stick. Every now and then, I do admit I enjoy using the big stick. Maybe it's because there's a satisfaction in seeing justice be done. I am Batman. I am justice. No. Maybe it's because, there's a little bit of heartless bastard in me. A little bit of dick. That came out wrong. But whatever the reason, I know it has to be done. And all kidding aside, it isn't fun. There's an emotional toll. I don't like being a dick. You don't like being a dick. No person likes actually being a dick. But if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, for the sake of your company, for the sake of the good people who work with you, for the sake of your own family, you have to be willing to be a dick. And you have to use the big stick.